a much anticipated video. I had lots of people commenting all across my different social media channels asking for a swatch and kind of review of the Anastasia Beverly Hills glow kits. Now, for someone with pale skin, you're probably thinking, why did you get both? But I will tell you why, and I will talk you through the shades. I'm going to keep this video as quick as possible and just get straight to the point. So if you want to see the swatches of the two Anastasia glow kits, then keep on watching. So the first thing that I noticed when I received these is how big they are. I was completely shocked. They they are this big. So 2.5, 3 times the size of a MAC quad, and they are in the standard like cardboard case, and they have a little slip like a CD, if you know what a CD is, to cover it. It's kind of heavy, but the individual pans can be removed. Not that I probably would. To be honest, I'd probably just take this whole thing with me when I travel because it's just kind of, it can do everything, and I'll show you why. Now, the one thing I would say that this palette is missing, which is ironic because usually I don't even use mirrors in palettes, but for some reason, I don't know, for some reason I would have liked a mirror here because it's so big. I think having a full-size mirror would have been awesome. I'm not the biggest fan of cardboard packaging. It's just, it does feel a bit flimsy, and I could easily like snap this in half. I also don't like that it doesn't fold backwards underneath itself. It's annoying that it only goes like this, and also once you've folded it, it like doesn't really want to close, and it is magnetic, so it's fine, but I mean, if I have to nitpick. Anyway, come on, let's get straight into the swatches. There's 4 shades here, so I'll hold it up to the screen so that up to the camera so you can see it. So these are the 4 shades. And this is in daylight, so I'm in front of a window right now, and I wanted to make sure that I did this in natural lighting so you can see the true shades. You can see that I've already been swatching there. Just to let you know my skin tone, I use Porcelain foundation by Too Faced, the Born This Way foundation, so that is how light my skin is. I'm sure you can already see, but I'm just giving you some context because I have just done my whole face. And I'm going to first show you swatches, and then I'm going to show you swatches on my face. I'll just show you the swatches on my hand. So the first shade is called Hard Candy. So this is Hard Candy. It's kind of like a reddish, bronzy, I say reddish because it is definitely rosy, bronzy, and I will swatch it there. There we go. So it's like a rose, goldy, bronzy situation. So the next shade, and by the way, I don't even think I said, this is the Anastasia Gleam quad. So there are 2 quads, and this is the lighter one. Shade number 2 is Mimosa, and this is the darkest one in the palette, and is like a classic warm bronze. And I'll show you on the back of my hand. There you go. So it's very, very pigmented, very. And it does apply quite differently with your fingers than a brush. With a brush, it's kind of almost luminous and sheer, and you can definitely pack it on if you use a wet brush or your fingers. So shade number 3 is the 3rd lightest in the palette, and it's called Starburst, and it's more of a peachy shade. This is Starburst. And I'll show you on the back of my hand. Sorry for giving you the finger, I don't know why I used that finger. So it is like peachy, lighter, and also a bit pink. Definitely a little bit pink, that one. So I feel like Hard Candy and Starburst can definitely be used as a super shiny blush if that's what you like. I do. Okay, and the 4th one is Crushed Pearl, and this is the lightest one in the palette. It's almost white. It's like a pinky white. And on the back of my hand, there it is. Very, very luminous and light. So that one is definitely one of my faves. It's kind of like a very, very light peach, pinky. It's just awesome, guys. I really, really, really like this. Also, I don't think I mentioned, these are $40 US, so only $10 per colour. And obviously the Australian dollar to the US dollar is not that great at the moment. But let me show you a comparison so you can see how big they are and justify justify spending this money. This is a MAC eyeshadow. Right? So you can see the size. And next to Mary Luminizer, which is my favorite highlight. You can see that Mary Luminizer is still bigger, but this is about $30 or $35. So there's your comparison, and I just think it's fun to play around with highlight colours because highlighting is not going anywhere, at least for the first half of the year. I think it's here to stay, especially because it's summer in Australia. Maybe in the US you guys are like calming it down a bit for winter, but I don't know. I love a shiny face. Anyway, I will also just say that I used this the other day, and a friend from work who doesn't really wear makeup and doesn't know anything about makeup just kind of stopped me and was like, your face is like glowing. And I was like, yes, mission accomplished. Huzzah! Anyway, let's move on to the second glow kit. Now the second glow kit is called That Glow, and it is definitely for darker skin tones, but that's not going to stop me using it, and I will tell you for why. So this is the palette. It's amazing. It's definitely more bronzy and dark, but look at this. It's amazing. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is Sunburst, and it is like a pure yellow gold, like white yellow gold. Amazing. Amazing. Now if you guys want to see some comparative swatches of these colours in a photo, then don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Lucy Helena, and also thumbs up and comment down below, and of course subscribe, and I'll give you a link to maybe some more swatches and that kind of thing on my other social media channels. So let's move on to, I'm going to go a bit backwards on this one and end with the darkest shade. So now I have seen people complain about these bottom two colours because they are very similar. So I'm going to swatch these side by side so you can see the difference. The first one is Bubbly. I'm just going to put them on different fingers. So this is Bubbly. So it's a bit yellowy bronze. And the next one is Dripping in Gold, and it's like very close but maybe a bit more orange. And so now I'm going to swatch Bubbly and Dripping in Gold. So you can see they are different. Dripping in Gold is darker and more yellow, and Bubbly is more orange and peachy. I hope you can see the difference there. Cool. But they just look the same in the palette, but they're not, guys, they're not. Now the final shade is Golden Bronze. I mean, it's pretty golden. And this is the final shade, it's the darkest shade, and I don't think I've used this yet, or maybe I have. Anyway, it's mad intense. So here it is. It's pretty dark, especially for my skin tone. And here it is swatched. Yeah, it's like full on. But you know what I'm going to use this for? Eyeshadow. It's amazing. It's so pigmented, and it's a massive eyeshadow, so it's going to last me for ages. There's always a use for this kind of thing. Now the consistency of these powders is super fine. Like if I'm comparing it to my Mary Lou is almost a little bit like granular, grainy, chunky, but in a good way, but it does pick up on any bumps you have on your skin and that kind of thing. So if your skin is not like completely smooth, then highlighters are generally an issue. But I will say, like, this is so finely milled, and like I said, you can apply it in almost a sheer way with a particular brush. Just so you know, the brush that I've been using is a new one. It's a Zoeva 105 Luxe Highlight, and it does pack a punch. Like, it's a concentrated highlight brush rather than a fan brush, because that's just what I like. So now it's time to see these palettes live in action upon my face. So let's do it. I'm going to use both, and I'm going to start with, I'm going to actually start with Sunburst, because I feel like you guys probably wouldn't expect that that I would use this palette, but I'm going to start with Sunburst, which is the yellow, and lay that down as like a base highlight. Like I mentioned, I'm using the Zoeva 105 Luxe Highlight, and away we go. I'm just going to like pat that straight on to the tops of my cheekbones like this. I don't know if that's showing up. I hope it is. And then the other side. So I'm doing like a pat and drag kind of motion just to like place it onto the skin. And then I'm also going to do sort of lightly with the point of the brush onto the brow bone, like that. And kind of join it together into a C shape. And that's it for that colour. The next colour I'm going to use, well actually next what I'm going to do is do some blush so that that's like my base colour, and then I'll put the shine back over the top. So I am going to use Anastasia Katie blush, which is one of my favourites. It's a beautiful pastel matte pink. I'm just going to pat that onto my apples of my cheeks, like that. And a little bit up onto the cheeks. So now I've got blush on. Now I'm not going to be contouring today, but I will be bronzing using this palette. Next I am going to take a different brush. I'm going to take MAC 116 and I'm going to take Bubbly here and use that just almost like a contour, but more like a bronzer kind of thing. So up and around the face. And this might scare you guys, like using something metallic and shiny as a contour and having a bronzer that is quite metallic, but it's never been an issue to me. I don't know if you can tell, but it is quite sheer. And yes, my whole face is probably going to be shiny, but I don't really care. Now I'm going to go back to the smaller brush and I'm going to switch palettes. I'm going to take, actually I'm going to go back to a different blush brush, which is this one I sometimes use for highlight. And I'm going to take Starburst, and that's going to be used almost like a blush, back over the top of the Katie blush, like that. So that the pink is now becoming sparkly and luminous. This is probably why my co-worker asked me why my face was shiny. Shiny, glowing. We don't want oily skin, we just want glowing on the other areas of your face and matte on the rest. And for finishing touch, I'm going to go in with Crushed Pearl, which is probably my favourite because it's like a pink highlight, which I love. And go back over the top here, just on the cheeks. I'm not going to put this on the eyes. Now, if you think you've gone too far with any of this, oh, I forgot. I'm going to go down the bridge of my nose with the pink because I feel like my skin tone is more, well, my skin tone is pretty neutral, but it's definitely not yellowy, so I think putting the yellow highlight on my nose will look unnatural. And a little bit on my cupid's bow, like that. And if you want to go extreme, you can do it with your finger, and I sometimes just do this on the end of my nose. How many shades did I use then? I think I used 4. So I mean, maybe if I go travelling, I'll swap it around and just take my favourite 4 shades and leave the other ones behind. Oh, I will also say that it's really nice to use Sunburst on the collarbones. And seeing as I'm wearing cami today, I'm just going to lightly sweep that across. That is it. That is my swatches and haul of the 2 Anastasia glow kits, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and also comment down below what kind of videos would you like to see next. The best place to see the things that I buy is on my Instagram, at Lucy Helena and at Lucy Helena MU. So everything that I buy, I'm more than willing to do a whole swatches, first impressions, review, tutorial, whatever you like. So always comment on there, and I'll see what I can do. I'll see you next time. Bye!